All right, that's all I have to say about that one, my friends. Let's go on to our last question. All right. This is one of my favorite questions. I'm very excited to answer this and also hear what you're thinking about it. I've been in many sexual relationships across my lifetime. Most recently, I've been single and built a lot of friendships. I've found so much freedom in friendship and don't miss sex or partnership at all. I am leaning toward not seeking partnership at all, but when I shared that idea with some friends, I could tell they thought it was odd. Is it okay to not want partnership, or is that an unhealthy way to be? All right, this is Mel from New York. We seem to have a lot of East Coast, West Coast people writing in. Um, I'm not sure if that's because you have an East Coast, West Coast therapist working on these questions. My primary networks are in the Bay Area and also Boston and New York, although we don't have a lot of Boston people writing in. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute. So, the first thing I want to address, which I think might be more widespread for this audience, is this idea of unhealthy. Unhealthy versus healthy. So Mel asks, is it okay to not want partnership, or is that an unhealthy way to be? A lot of therapy approaches, particularly like postmodern approaches. So postmodern is really allowing people to construct and build their own realities, as opposed to having a very definitive, this is right, this is wrong, and we're kind of guiding people toward a particular direction. Really shy away from this idea of, is this healthy or unhealthy? One, it's a dichotomy, and I'm not trying to dodge the question, but I'm also just saying, I mean, come on, like most things exist along the continuum. It's not common to have something 100% bad, 100% good. We live in the gray for a reason. And I also think, so this idea of, is this unhealthy? That's one. So one, things exist on a continuum. It might be unhealthy with a particular person at a point in their life. It might be completely healthy and great for another person at another juncture of their life. So I think the work is really to be assessing how you define health. What does health mean to you? And what are some indications that something might not be in service to your health? So and now stepping back, let's say there is a therapist who says, they might be a little bit more like, no, there are some things that are unhealthy or healthy. They might have a certain position about that. With this question, I don't, but I'm just going to kind of give an example of someone who might. I think this is a really great question that's just totally up to the client and helping them figure that out. But let's say the therapist kind of took more of a position and thought there was like a health or a not health. We tend in therapy to assess healthy and not healthy based on functioning. So if this person, says, hey, I don't want partnership, and now I'm depressed, I'm in my house, I can't go to my job anymore, I'm sad, I'm withdrawn. Okay, yeah, that doesn't seem healthy because it's not facilitating your functioning. For example, this is just kind of an extreme example. Again, most things exist in the gray, so this is kind of a difficult question to answer. But if someone says, hey, I am not seeking partnership, I don't want to have sex right now, and I'm engaging with art, I feel like I'm having balance with work, I'm really getting in touch with different aspects of myself as separate from embedded in a partnership, my family relationships have improved. Okay, yeah, this seems healthy to me. This seems like it's in service of your health. But again, I think that assessment should come from the client. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, which really Mel was not asking me to wax poetic on healthy versus unhealthy, but I wanted you all to hear that because I'm asked frequently, is this bad? Should I not be doing this? Is this healthy? Is this unhealthy? And that's what I think about that. So now let's talk about this idea of asexuality. I think this is a very, very misunderstood group. So someone who chooses not to engage in partnership, romantic partnership, not to engage in sex, again, that is also a pretty wide continuum. And we can maybe just start using this language of individuals in the ACEs community. So this is in the asexuality community. Someone might say, hey, I want partnership. I want romantic partnership, but I don't want sex. I don't want physical intimacy. Or, hey, I actually don't want physical intimacy or romantic partnership. I want really deep and connected friendship where we cohabitate but live in separate rooms. Something like that. So let's talk about what asexuality is not. So like some of the biases here. Asexuality, someone choosing that way of life, is not necessarily as a direct result of an abusive, bad relationship. It is not always because someone has religious reasons for engaging in that practice. So someone who says, like, I'm not going to engage in intimacy before marriage, or I'm not going to have sex before marriage. That's not always the case for people who consider themselves part of the ACE community. It's not always about celibacy. So you can be part of the ACE community and still want some kind of physical intimacy. There might just be some boundaries around what that is when it happens. It is not dysfunctional, aversive, or sexually repressive. Individuals can really powerfully choose to do this. It's not just a default when you have like lack of libido or you're getting older and not wanting sex. It's not like a default identity when sex isn't available to you anymore. And it doesn't always have to do with fear of intimacy or finding a partner. So these are some assumptions, and I'm wondering if Mel from New York has sort of experienced some of those assumptions, like, well, normal people would want partnership or healthy people would want partnership. That is completely not the case. I think that sometimes people seek partnership for reasons that aren't actually serving them. And so it's really an individual choice. And I think in either way, when you choose to partner or when you choose not to partner, it is helpful to talk that through with someone and really have a good understanding of the intentionality behind your choices. All right, let's talk about what what someone in the ACE community might actually experience. So they might want friendship, understanding, and empathy. They might fall in love, experience arousal and orgasm, choose to masturbate either with someone or by themselves, choose to engage in sexual activity under certain terms or conditions. They might choose not to. And they might be of any gender, age, or background. And people in the ACE community might have a spouse, might have kids and a family, and engage in this way of being for either their whole life or a portion of their life. All right, Mel, I hope that was helpful for you.